Now, Ethereum is the number 2 cryptocurrency in the world. A lot of people love it. Some people hate it. A lot of people own it, so it's important. This article from CoinDesk.com tells us dark pools dominate Ethereum as private transactions surge, at least by one measure. More transactions on the blockchain are getting routed privately as users try to avoid front-running bots that eat into trading margins, but network observers worry about a loss of transparency and potentially a trend toward centralization, by Bradley Kuhn, dated August 20th, 2024. Now, of course, it's kind of the problem with the blockchains sometimes with Ethereum, Bitcoin, and others. Sometimes these blockchains become congested as people use them in really heavy ways. And an answer to this has been to set up side chains. A lot of talk about that. That way people can get their transactions processed more quickly, but it brings on a whole new set of problems of its own. They tell us a growing number of sophisticated, that means people with a lot of money, Ethereum users are choosing to transact privately on the blockchain, relying on so-called dark pools to avoid trading bots set up to front-run transactions, but potentially obscuring the openness and transparency that is supposed to be hallmarks of decentralized public networks. That's according to research compiled by Blocknative, a company that specializes in preventing or minimizing the impact of MEV, which stands for maximal extractable value, the profits that can be siphoned off by fast-moving software bots that can quickly enter into trades or skim margins off a transaction that are sitting in the network's public queue waiting to be processed. So while you're buying and selling your Ethereum, you've got robots on there looking to skim profits off that trade. And if we have a lot of congestion in the blockchain and your transactions are taking a while, all the better for them. Private transactions, which are sent directly to validators or block proposers instead of public meme pools, now account for about half of the total on Ethereum in terms of the total gas usage, reflecting the computational power required to process transactions. The percentage was about 7% in 2022 when Ethereum transitioned into a proof of stake network, but it's taken off this year, jumping from 15% since the start of 2024. A consequence of the trend is that private transaction order flow is only accessible to permission network participants, which can be a centralizing force if a smaller number of sophisticated players reap more of the rewards, Blocknative wrote in a blog post discussing the findings. You have a small number of actors who can see the private flow, Blocknative CEO Matt Cutler said in an interview. Certain people can see stuff and certain people can't, and that creates opportunity and advantage, while also creates a disadvantage for the people that can't see it. The data might be off to pros who have observed such statistics before. The more typical way of measuring the prevalence of private activity is with transaction count, and that's currently around 30%. As recently as 2022, that share was closer to 4.5%. But private transactions tend to be more complex and thus more gas intensive, according to Blocknative. So they're saying they're using a little bit more gas, but they're not being taken advantage of by the bots, so they're probably saving money in the long run. By shifting focus to the amount of gas used by private transactions, we can gain a more accurate understanding of network dynamics, Blocknative wrote. Among the disadvantage for users transacting publicly is that fee rates, which fluctuate based on network demand, can be more volatile and highly unpredictable, Cutler said. Only certain actors like block builders can see what's going on in the network. They have exclusive access to certain information that gives you an edge. It's a big fact of life. Kind of the thing that we were trying to get away from in cryptocurrency, where it seems like a few people on top have all the advantages. It seems like if this continues to be a problem with Ethereum, you're going to have a lot of people that are not going to like this, because you're going to have two kinds of customers: the peasants who are forced to pay high gas prices, maybe not quite as who are forced to pay gas prices, that they're just at the mercy of the validators, and they're at the mercy of the bots too. So they're kind of going to get shaped two different ways. And then you're going to have the more advanced, wealthy customers, the whales, and they're going to be able to go around the public chain, use a private chain that maybe they only have access to. Now they might pay a little more gas fees, but they're probably going to save a lot as far as being exploited by the bots. So what we can see here is Ethereum turning into this kind of a two-tier chain. Now, is that going to be something that's going to be appealing to the masses? I don't know, maybe not so much, but just kind of staying on top of these dark pools and what it means for Ethereum as a cryptocurrency blockchain in the future. Until next time, this is Crypto News Now. Out of here.